We have reduced fat milk. We got brewed coffee. Wow, you're just getting down to business. Monster. Let's crack this bitch open. It smells coffee-ish. It smells salty. I should just fucking drink it already. Okay, here we go. Wow. That tastes like a salted caramel kind of coffee. Let's take another sip of that.
Today, we're gonna be setting a drink you all know and tolerate. The one you usually see crushed in alleyways, lying by heroin needles, and McDonald's cups. You know the one. Monster turns 15 years old this year, aka the age you were when you had your first Monster. The same age you were when you first realized that anything running with a year-round Halloween aesthetic would never live up to your expectations. This probably won't come as a shock to you, but Monster Energy mainly uses sporting events to advertise. Likely because the only group of people Monster will immediately appeal to is the group that enjoys watching people get hurt for money, kind of like Marlboro. This drink is so accepted in racing circles that there's now a Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. It's probably confusing to fans when they have to order it in a can at the concession stands, but they'll figure it out eventually. Monster Energy drinks usually come in 16-ounce cans. Said cans warn you that you shouldn't drink more than 48 ounces in a day, but that's an awful lot of math for someone who is so energized that they can't help but run around the office like a madman with shoes on their hands and a tie around their head. Actually, Australian Monster warns against drinking more than 1 can per day. Either the Aussies have a strange sensitivity to caffeine, or the US is fucking us. As it turns out, the Aussies might not be so far off the mark, considering a 14-year-old girl died from a caffeine-induced heart attack after drinking 2 mega cans of Monster in 2011. Now, to be fair, the girl did have a pre-existing heart condition and should not have been drinking a thing that would specifically fuck with her heart, let alone 2 of them. But hey, they're called Monster. If anyone's got an easy target for blame on their back, it's a company that brands itself under a word synonymous with devil. There are actually 5 deaths that occurred after drinking Monster from 2004 to 2012, but no report showed if the Monster is what killed them. I guess if you're stupid enough to chug multiple Monsters in a row, you're stupid enough to do tons of other dangerous shit. Some prosecutors in Cali even went as far as to try to get the energy drinks regulated like Adderall and Ritalin. Adderall is literally an amphetamine and Ritalin is known to cause psychosis, but sure, let's put them all on the same playing field. Now, Australia is not alone in wanting to limit the consumption of Monster. The drink is outright banned by the Indian Food Safety and Standards Authority. People in India eat red ants, chutney, and snail stew with steamed hornets. I'm not judging, just slightly concerned for the safety of their people. Well, I mean, I guess not when it comes to Monster Energy drinks. In case you're wondering, Monster Energy drink doesn't just have caffeine providing that extra boost. Maybe if it was called Moderately Aggressive Dog or Declawed Cat in Heat, they could get away with just caffeine. But that's way too tame for a drink called Monster. They pack the cans full of taurine, L-carnitine, and guarana, among others, but it's a reach for me just pronouncing those. Now, there's technically nothing wrong with these additives. One helps regulate your blood, one helps turn fat into energy, one provides you with a shit ton of caffeine. But combined in a 16-ounce can with 54 grams of sugar, it's a disaster waiting to happen. I'm actually gonna send the drink again for the 54 grams of sugar, because anything with 54 grams of sugar should taste better. Monster is unhealthy enough that the Livestrong website even published an article on the dangers of drinking it. And Livestrong is run by the world's most notorious roider. If he's got a problem with it, well, it's probably really, really shitty. Monster has a variety of flavors for customers to choose from. So many flavors, in fact, that there's even a list challenge for them. Here are a few of my favorites. Monster Assault, because it's always a great idea to use a word usually ascribed to unwanted sexual advances for your yummy drink. Monster Chaos, which no doubt fucked with a lot of kids on their 8th grade spelling test. Monster Dub Edition, which doesn't have a catchphrase or tagline or anything. Is it referencing dubstep? Dublin, Ireland? Double Bubble? Now, Monster didn't stop there. In order to appeal to coffee drinkers, they started a Java Monster line. The only problem? Cutesy coffee names and Monster with an M scratched into the can don't really mix. Instead of Chaos or Assault, which at the very least matched the brand, we got Irish Blend, Vanilla Light, and Salted Caramel. Way to stay on brand, Monster. way to stay on brand. Speaking of, sometimes on the show, we have brands that are being sued for copyright infringements. Monster is under fire for suing companies or groups that use the word monster, or the letter M. They even tried suing a microbrewery in Vermont that called itself Vermonster, but the locals really like their beer, so Monster dropped the suit to avoid negative publicity. I do have to point out that technically the brewery only added S and ER to their state's name, and I'm fairly certain they didn't try to have a monster claw through their beer cans. Monster's even gone so far as to sue a root beer company called Thunder Beast because the word beast appears in one of Monster's slogans. Root beer isn't even in competition with Monster. It's a notoriously caffeine-free beverage. There's this whole YouTube concocted conspiracy theory that Monster energy drink is somehow satanic because of some Hebrew translations and the number of the beast.
That's Satan at work, trying to get us Christians off track with our walk with Jesus Christ.
Do you understand how focused you'd have to be to study Hebrew numerology? You don't? Well, me either. But I'm guessing it's more focused than a guy who's been experimenting with all different kinds of caffeine in his system for who knows how long could be. Despite a net come of over $340 million that year, 2012 found Monster using Beastie Boys songs without permission in an online campaign. They were obviously sued, and the boys walked away with $1.7 million of that monstery money. So I've been saving this bit of information for the third act, a Shyamalan twist, if you will. The Monster Beverage Corporation also produced Hubert's Lemonade, Peace Tea, and Hansen's Natural Soda. That's right, the same people who put nail scratchings on their can as a logo are also responsible for that cute winking lemon. And finally, they've since transferred their non-energy drinks over to the beverage giant that is Coca-Cola. But still, at one point, these drinks were on the same production line as super fancy sodas. So did I get you? Were you surprised? Am I the new M. Night Shyamalan? Actually, forget that.